So here I am. It's May the 6th, almost 6 o'clock, and I'm looking at what might have been the first Martin Luther King Center for Social Change on Sunset Avenue. This is the fourplex apartment building that Maynard Jackson Sr., the father of Maynard Jackson Jr., the first African-American mayor of Atlanta, built back as a means of income for his family. They lived in one unit and rented out the others because back then preachers didn't make that much. Not like he had a mega church, but he was the pastor. He was called to be pastor of Friendship Baptist Church, and that's how we got Maynard Jackson Jr. here in Atlanta when his father came to pastor Friendship. Right here I've got John H. Lewis and Monique Prather, and they are two Vine City residents who've been here a long time, and they know the history of this place probably better than anybody you'll ever talk to. So I feel really fortunate to talk to both of them right now. John, can you tell me any memories you have of this place from your childhood even?
Sure. Well, coming to the house next door before Dr. King lived there were family members that lived there. Charles Gideons, who was the principal of Howard High School in the daytime and Washington High at night, his wife, Ruby, was related to my maternal grandmother. So that meant that the relationship and being able to come here to this house. Mrs. Jackson was a very fine pianist, a concert pianist. Of course, people who know the family know that her sister, Mattie Willer, was also a Metropolitan Opera star. So having the opportunity to come here and also to sit and to play the piano with Mrs. Jackson on many occasions, and even when she was in a convalescent home I would go, and sometimes we would do piano duets together.
So that was in this home?
Well, yes.
What later became known as the King family home.
The King home, yes.
And the King family home was already existing a long time before the Kings moved in. And
the Jackson family home.
Oh, the Jackson family home. Oh. So this was where you heard the piano?
No, the piano was here.
Okay, all right.
Because this was family.
Okay.
It was related to my grandmother.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
But Mrs. Jackson was a very fine. But back in the day, families were families. I mean, Sunday afternoons, the parlor recitals and so forth, that Monique can, I'm sure, attest to, that those are the kinds of things that we did in the community. Here, the Phyllis Wheatley YWCA, which Mrs. Jackson and also Mrs. Gideons also participated in those activities even there.
Right. Good, good. So you have memories of this house a long time before this was even built?
Well, no, not before this one was
built.
This one was built in 1949.
Okay.
But
this was built in 1949.
From age, my earliest memory is maybe from 5 or 6. Which is a few years back.
Yeah.
that I first remember. But this house, when I remember it, the Jacksons were already living here.
Oh, well, they were. Oh,
they
great.
Were.
So, and they were living here, and the upstairs
they lived
or
here
downstairs?
Until 1961. From 1949 until 1961. And after Reverend Jackson died in the mid-50s, Dr. Irene Dobbs Jackson took on a job in North Carolina, in Durham, North Carolina, teaching there at a college there in North Carolina, and moved the family there.
Yes.
But she kept the house.
Wow. Okay.
And another 8 years before she actually sold it to Mrs. Coretta Scott King.
And what was the purpose of selling it to the King family?
Well, with the idea, from what I understand, with the people back when Dr. King first passed, if you can imagine it, the kinds of mail, the kinds of correspondence that she was getting from all over the world, that I'm sure, I don't know this for a fact, because I was not here on a daily basis. I was not here at all after the Kings moved into this house. But to know that the correspondence must have been overwhelming, and she needed a place, and she had already said that she was going to do this Center for Social Change in memory of Dr. King, and this was the facility that was used to begin that idea.
That's great. So this is kind of like the first MLK Center for Social Change, and great. Well, so tell me what's going on right now.
Well, I discovered one of my neighbors called and said to me on Friday that there is a demolition notice or a building permit, a sign that was out in front of the house, and she had a copy of the actual copy of the demolition permit, and I immediately went downtown to City Hall to talk with the building department about it, and discovered that the permit was given on April the 30th, which was just a couple of days, on Tuesday, I believe it was.
Ooh, who filed for the building demolition permit?
Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Social Change is what his name is on the application.
So that's the owner of this
Yes, that's the owner of the
building right
of the
now.
building, yes. The Parks Department, as everybody knows,
Has bought the Kings.
bought that
Yeah.
already.
And has the Parks Department also bought this?
That I cannot say because I don't know.
All right. But this street, this whole street, Sunset Avenue, has been designated as a historic African American.
It has been, and we were. That's the questions are asked. Why is it that we didn't do something to preserve this house or to buy the house? Feeling and knowing that the King family was going to do the right thing about it, and it being in their possession, there was no reason for us to inquire or to want to purchase it from the King Center or from the King Estate.
But you had no idea. Who would have thought that they would try to destroy it?
No,
I mean, demolish
I had no idea that
of course not.
that would happen. But there are entities that are involved in the community who have wanted to see it go for their own business interests and personal interests, I'm sure.
Yeah, I see. Well, imagine if you could use this street as a teaching tool for millions of visitors from around the world who want to know about the civil rights history that started, or that not started here in Atlanta, but had a lot of movement in Atlanta. What would you imagine could happen here?
Well, I mean, in addition to Maynard Jackson as our mayor, our beloved Maynard Jackson, in addition to Dr. King and Maynard, in my humble opinion, the Dobbs side of the family, Mrs. Jackson's family, her father being considered the African American mayor, didn't call them African Americans then. It was either black mayor or colored mayor of Auburn Avenue. There's a lot of history that's intertwined here with the Jackson family, the Dobbs family, and it's all a part of our history. And to destroy any part of this mosaic, if you will, how will we be able to tell our story? Are we going to allow ourselves to be reduced to plaques and markers? Is that how we're going to remember our culture, our history, our legacy?
Okay. Well, thank you for talking with me today.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And here we are. The street address here is 220 Sunset Avenue, Northwest. We're on the historic Vine City area, and this is the building built originally by Maynard Jackson Sr.
For $8,000 in 1949.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. The history of our city, of Friendship Baptist Church that gave rise to Spelman College, Atlanta University,
Same boxcar.
and it was the first.
Morehouse College.
It was the first Atlanta home for Morehouse. If
Morehouse
we didn't have
actually-
Friendship, we wouldn't have had Morehouse, and we might not have had King going to Morehouse.
Exactly.
And if we
And
didn't have
also,
Friendship, we wouldn't have had Maynard Jackson
A
Jr.
part that I didn't tell you is that I think Maynard must have been about 13 years old when they moved here, if not younger. He attended Morehouse at age 15.
Wow, it's
Both he
amazing.
and Dr. King attended Morehouse very early in
Yeah.
life. And Monique can sort of share with you her experiences with Maynard at that age. Yes.
I live on Griffin Street, and which is one street over from Sunset Avenue.
Right.
And as a child, the people that lived next door to us, well, they had a daughter who married,
Okay.
and they had a child, and so I was friends with the family. So Maynard was interested in Ray. Ray liked him, but not in that manner. So he would take her out on dates, and they would take me.
Oh.
So as a child, I can say I went on a date, or rather a double date, or a triple date, so to speak, with Maynard Jackson.
You were the chaperone, weren't you?
And so they
That
would
was
bring,
customary back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
they
Of
would
course.
bring me home,
Yeah.
and tell me and make me. He would come up to the house and walk me to the door. And those are memories I have of him.
Oh.
And he was a very nice young man. He would, if anybody on the street when he was walking home from Morehouse, needed help taking groceries in, he would help them take groceries. But you see, we did that in
Yeah,
those times.
yeah.
We were a community. We were a true community where we looked out and helped each other. And if I did
Yeah.
something on Hunter Street as I'm walking home from high school, and somebody saw me, by the time I got home, my grandmother heard about it, and you know there were difficulties, shall we say? Okay.
Gotcha. Well, you guys remember what, in a way, was the beloved community.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, yes.
Yes.
And that's just where it happened.
Yep.
You know,
And
and even to the degree of sometimes even people being so close, they may not have been blood kin, but they called each other aunt, uncle, cousin. You know, even though they may not have been blood relatives,
Yeah,
Right.
because
sure.
they had that affinity, that closeness, that connection.
Well, I do appreciate both of y'all sharing a side of Atlanta we don't see very often lately.
And thank you for having us.
Sure, sure. And here we are once more. I'm gonna get this beautiful 220 Sunset Avenue and the two beautiful folks who are sharing some memories from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did go in that house.
Did you?
Oh yeah,
What was the occasion?
because I was
Why?
just as a child, just you know, it was you could go when you go to visit with people. It was just that you would go over and people would welcome me, and I just wanted to know who these people were. You know, and I've always been that kind of individual that like to be with people.
I want to say also, John, that you have opened the Vine City Civic Association Community Center
Yes.
at the corner of Sunset and Joseph E. Boone. And as we speak, there's about 20 kids playing basketball in the lot next to it that's been opened up for them. And they all came in and got some water. And it's good for them to have a place to have companionship, feel safe,
Yeah.
feel like they have a
safe
community.
space, yes.
And thank
And
you
I
so
want
much
to-
for
I
doing
want
that.
to really have the opportunity to share with them and expose them to some of the history and the culture and some of the good times and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And really, they're really excited about it.
Oh, I can see.
About participating in the activities that we have.
And I love the historical artwork and books and everything you got going there. So for the kids and for the adults. And thanks so much for
And thank you, Molly, for
keeping
being
it together.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, you know what a good thing to do is you can get a shot of us as we're walking down the driveway.
Okay, I'll do that. I hope this is still doing.